All right, everyone, welcome to another deep dive. Today, we are looking at some marketing fails
Oh, marketing fails.
from 2024.
Love it.
Some real cringe, but some valuable lessons too, so get ready.
Yeah, you always learn so much more from failures than from successes.
You do. It's like a reverse masterclass.
That's a good way to put it.
Our source material today is a YouTube video, 5 Worst Digital Marketing Fails of 2024. It's by Lover Fighter Writer.
Okay.
They're a digital marketer, and they always call out these kinds of blunders, so
I like them already.
yeah.
What kind of fails? Like, what industries are we talking?
We got a real mix from a tech gadget that, well, it promised to replace your smartphone.
Hmm?
Spoiler, it didn't.
Oh.
And we've also got a breakfast cereal company that decided that cereal was a good, cost-effective dinner.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we're going to unpack why these campaigns flopped, hopefully give you some insights, whether you're a seasoned marketer or just kind of curious about the business world.
I'm already hooked.
All right, well, let's start with a YouTube channel implosion, shall we?
Ooh, drama.
There's this popular channel, Watcher, and they decided to move their content to a paid streaming app.
Okay.
Seems like logical, right? Monetize a loyal fan base.
Right.
But
Yeah.
there's always a but.
Yeah.
They lost 100,000 subscribers in just 48 hours.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
What happened? Did they, like, misjudge how much people were willing to pay?
Yeah, they really did. They misjudged the audience's willingness to pay for something that they were used to getting for free.
Right.
And to make matters worse, in the announcement video, one of the creators said, everyone can afford $6 a month.
Oof.
Yeah.
Good case.
Major disconnect from the, financial realities of many viewers.
Yeah, not the best move.
No, and the irony is they quickly backpedaled.
Really?
Made the content free on YouTube after a month's delay.
So why did they just lead with that?
Right.
I mean, did they just not think it through?
It seems like, sometimes these content creators, they get in an echo chamber,
Oh, for sure. They're surrounded by people just like them. So it's easy to forget that the rest of the world doesn't necessarily have the same priorities or budget.
Exactly. And it highlights the need for diverse feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just listen to the people who are always going to agree with you.
Yeah, get some outside perspectives.
Okay, next up, we have the Humane AI pin. Remember this?
Vaguely. Refresh my memory.
Okay, so tiny pin you clip to your shirt.
Right, okay.
It replaces your bulky smartphone.
So futuristic.
It sounded so cool, except, well, reality didn't quite match the marketing.
What happened?
Bulky, clunky, and it really relied on these voice commands that didn't always work.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
It's like, we've seen this before with all kinds of AI assistants, right?
Yeah, Alexa, Google Home, they all have their moments.
Totally.
So what was the big selling point of this pin?
It was going to project laser text onto your hand.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now. Sounds cool in theory, not so much in practice.
No, not really.
Imagine trying to read a message on your hand while, like, walking on a busy street.
Exactly.
Not the most practical.
Nope.
So, lesson learned, I guess.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
User experience really matters. Sometimes chasing that cool factor just doesn't work.
Yeah, function over flash.
Right.
You got to test it out, make sure it actually works as well as it looks.
So from a failing YouTube channel to a tech gadget flop, we're seeing a pattern here.
Yeah, what is it?
A lack of understanding of the audience.
Right.
Shall we see if this pattern continues?
Let's do it. I'm ready for more.
Okay, let's move to Hollywood. We've got not one, but 2 box office bombs to unpack.
Ooh, Hollywood drama. Always a good time.
Okay, so first we have The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Huge stars, big budget.
Who was in it?
Henry Cavill,
Superman.
yes, and Alan Richson.
Oh, from Reacher.
Yes.
Okay, I'm interested.
Lots of explosions, lots of action.
Sounds like a surefire hit.
But it bombed.
Really? Wow. How is that even possible with that cast and, like, explosions?
I know. It barely made back half of its $60 million budget.
60 million. Ouch.
Yeah.
So what went wrong?
It seems like they just didn't market it to the right people.
Yeah, you can have the best movie in the world, but if nobody knows about it or if the wrong people are seeing the ads, it's not going to do well.
Right. It's like throwing a great party, but forgetting to send out the invitations.
Perfect analogy.
Now, the second bomb, Madam Web.
Okay, I remember seeing the trailers for that.
Yeah, they really played up the action, right?
Yeah, it looks like a full-on superhero flick.
But the movie itself, it was more of a comedy mystery.
Oh, so like a bait and switch.
Exactly.
That's got to be frustrating for viewers.
Yeah, a lot of people felt misled, like the studio just crammed the whole movie into a 3-minute trailer.
And that can really damage trust. you know?
Oh, for sure.
Like, why would I believe anything you say in your marketing from now on if you're just going to lie to me?
All right, are you ready for a video game fail?
Hit me with it.
Okay, this game is so expensive it costs more to make than some Hollywood blockbusters.
More than, like, those movies.
Yes.
Okay, I'm officially intrigued. Tell me more.
This game, Conquered, was in development for 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a long time.
And it had a $400 million price tag.
$400 million.
Yeah.
For a video game.
Yep.
Okay, what kind of game are we talking about here?
It was a hero shooter.
Like Overwatch.
Yeah, like Overwatch, Team Fortress 2.
Okay, so a popular genre, but a really competitive market.
Very competitive, lots of free-to-play options.
So what did Concord do?
They launched with a $50 price tag.
$50. In a market where everything's free? Bold move.
Too bold, it turns out.
Yeah, I could see how that might backfire.
And to make matters worse, the reviews weren't great.
Oh, no.
People said it wasn't even as good as the free games.
Ouch.
Yeah, they just didn't understand what gamers wanted.
Talk about a product market fit fail.
Totally. The game was shut down weeks after release, and the studio behind it closed its doors.
Wow, what a disaster.
Yeah, $400 million down the drain.
It's a reminder that even with all the resources in the world, you still need to create something people actually want.
All right, last but not least, are you ready for this one?
Bring it on.
It involves breakfast cereal.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
This company decided to try and convince people that cereal is a good dinner option.
Wait, what?
Did I hear that right?
Who thought that was a good idea?
Kellogg's.
Kellogg's. Like the cereal giant Kellogg's.
The one and only.
Oh,
They were trying to pitch their sugary cereals as a budget-friendly alternative to, actual dinners.
I mean, I love a bowl of cereal as much as the next person, but dinner? Come on.
Right. It just felt so tone-deaf, especially for families who are actually struggling to put food on the table.
Yeah, it's like they're completely out of touch with reality. Did they get any pushback on this?
Oh, yeah. Big time.
I bet.
Articles, social media, you name it.
People weren't happy.
Not at all. It's like they forgot that cereal, it's not a meal.
And let's be honest, it's not even that cheap compared to other options.
Exactly.
So what's the takeaway here?
I think it's a reminder that empathy is crucial in marketing.
Yeah, you got to understand your audience and their values.
Right. And you can't just slap a marketing campaign on any product and expect it to work.
Especially when it clashes with common sense and basic nutrition.
So in this first part of our deep dive, we've seen a YouTube channel crash and burn, a tech gadget fail to take off, a couple of Hollywood movies bomb, and a cereal company face a PR nightmare.
A lot of flops.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is there's a common thread running through all of them.
And that is?
A fundamental lack of understanding of the target audience.
Yeah, you got to know who you're talking to.
Exactly. Whether it's misjudging expectations, values, or just plain common sense, these brands made assumptions that led to their downfall.
And in today's world, where consumers have so much power, those kinds of missteps can be fatal.
So what can we do to avoid these pitfalls?
Well, that's what we're going to explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned as we unpack further insights and figure out how to avoid these marketing disasters.
I can't wait.
Me too.
This is going to be good.
It is. Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. So in the last part, we looked at some pretty epic marketing fails of 2024.
Yeah, some real head scratchers.
We saw how misjudging your audience, overhyping your product, being out of touch with reality, all that can lead to some disastrous results.
It's amazing how often these big companies just completely miss the mark.
It is.
But you know what? There's always a silver lining.
There is.
Even in a marketing disaster, there are lessons to be learned.
That's why we're here. We're going to take these cautionary tales and we're going to try to extract some actionable advice.
Yeah, let's turn these flops into like a blueprint for success.
Love that. Turn those flops into a blueprint.
Yeah.
So let's start with the most fundamental principle of marketing.
The golden rule.
Know your audience.
Amen to that.
And I don't mean just like a surface level understanding.
Yeah, not just demographics.
We need to go deeper.
Like psychographics, right?
Exactly. Psychographics, their values, their beliefs, their aspirations, their fears.
What makes them tick? What are they struggling with? What keeps them up at night?
That's the stuff we need to know.
Yeah. And it's not always obvious.
Remember Watcher?
Oh, yeah. The YouTube channel.
They assumed they knew their audience.
And they were wrong.
So wrong. So do your research, people. Conduct surveys, listen to what people are saying online, read reviews, actually talk to your customers.
Don't just guess.
No guessing. Data is your friend.
Use it wisely.
Use it wisely, validate your assumptions or invalidate them, which sometimes happens.
And remember, assumptions can make an ass out of you and me.
That's a good one.
An oldie but a goodie.
But data alone is not enough.
Right, we're not robots.
I need to pair it with empathy.
Put yourself in your audience's shoes.
Walk a mile in their moccasins.
See the world through their eyes.
Understand their circumstances, their limitations, their perspectives.
And you know it's a perfect example of what happens when empathy goes out the window.
Let me guess. Kellogg's.
Bingo. Cereal for dinner.
Really? They completely failed to grasp the emotional and practical realities of families who are struggling to make ends meet.
Right. It's not about whether you would eat cereal for dinner.
It's about understanding what your audience needs and what they can afford.
And being sensitive to that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, empathy is crucial.
It's crucial, and so is authenticity.
Oh, for sure.
Be honest, be transparent in your marketing.
Don't overpromise and underdeliver.
Like, what was it, the AI pin?
Yeah, the humane AI pin. All hype, no substance.
And whatever you do, don't mislead people with your trailers or your marketing campaigns.
Like Madam Web.
Yeah, that bait and switch tactic. Not cool.
It might get you some attention in the short term, but in the long run, you're just going to damage your reputation.
Because people can tell when you're not being genuine.
They can smell it a mile away.
And they'll call you out on it.
Especially online, word travels fast these days.
So be real, be true to your brand, be true to your audience.
Authenticity is key.
It's everything.
But you know, sometimes even when you have the best intentions,
And you're doing everything right.
things can still go wrong.
Remember Conquered.
The $400 million video game flop.
That's the one. They had the resources, they had the talent, they had the time.
But they missed the mark.
They just didn't understand the market.
It's a reminder that innovation isn't enough.
You need product market fit.
You got to create something people actually want.
And that's where testing and iteration come in.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Try new things.
Learn from your mistakes.
Because everyone makes mistakes.
Even the most successful companies have their share of flops.
The key is to view failure not as the end,
But as a stepping stone.
a learning opportunity.
Be agile, be responsive, never stop learning.
The marketing landscape is constantly changing.
What worked yesterday might not work today.
So you got to stay curious, stay informed, and be willing to adapt.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yes. Talk to experts. Get feedback from your audience. Surround yourself with people who will challenge you.
Who will make you think differently.
So we've talked about knowing your audience, being authentic, testing, iterating, learning from your mistakes.
A lot of good stuff.
But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final crucial point.
Okay, I'm listening.
The power of storytelling.
Yes, the oldest trick in the book.
It's not a trick.
You know what
I do. It's a fundamental part of human connection.
We're hardwired for stories.
They captivate us, they move us, they help us make sense of the world.
And in marketing, stories can be incredibly persuasive.
They can help you build trust, connect with your audience on a deeper level.
And ultimately, drive action.
Think about all the marketing fails we've talked about today.
What do they all have in common?
They lacked a good story.
They did. Watcher, no story about why their content was worth paying for.
The AI pin, no story about how it would actually improve people's lives. Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, no story that captured the imagination.
And Kellogg's cereal for dinner. Not exactly a heartwarming tale.
No, not really.
So how do we get better at telling stories in our marketing?
That's a great question, and that's exactly what we're going to explore in our final segment.
Stay tuned, folks. We're about to unlock the secrets of storytelling.
And we are back for the final part of our deep dive into marketing fails. We've uncovered some valuable lessons about knowing your audience, being authentic, and learning from those inevitable mistakes.
Absolutely.
But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with like a powerful tool
Okay.
to enhance your marketing efforts.
I'm all ears.
Storytelling.
Yes, storytelling. We touched on it briefly before.
We did.
But it's worth really diving into.
It is.
Because it's such a fundamental part of human connection.
It is. It's how we make sense of the world.
And in marketing, a good story, it can make all the difference.
It really can.
Between a campaign that falls flat and one that really grabs people's attention.
Totally. Think about the marketing fails we've discussed.
Okay.
They all lacked that, like, strong narrative.
They did. They didn't tell a story that people could connect with.
Watcher, they didn't explain why their content was worth paying for.
Right.
The AI pin, all that cool technology, but no story about how it would actually make people's lives better.
Exactly. It was just a gadget, not a solution.
Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Big stars, big explosions, but no story that, like, grabbed you?
No emotional connection.
And Kellogg's? Well, cereal for dinner.
Not the most compelling narrative.
No, not really.
So how do we get better at this?
Yeah.
How do we tell stories that actually work?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
Well, first you got to understand your audience.
Like you talked about before.
Exactly. What are their needs, their desires, their pain points? What kind of stories will resonate with them?
And then think about your product or service. What problem does it solve? What kind of transformation does it enable?
Right. How can you turn those things into a story that people will care about?
Like, let's say you're marketing a fitness app.
Okay.
Don't just list the features.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear about that.
Tell a story about someone who used the app and, like, transformed their life.
Right. Make it relatable.
Make people feel something.
Use vivid language. Create characters people can connect with. Build a narrative that keeps them engaged.
And don't be afraid to, like, inject some humor or suspense.
Keep it interesting.
People don't just buy products, they buy into stories.
They input emotions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so here's a simple framework for storytelling and marketing.
Okay, I'm ready.
First, you got to establish a relatable character. Could be your ideal customer or someone who represents the challenges your product solves.
Got it.
Then introduce a problem, a conflict, something your audience can relate to.
Something that makes them go, ooh, yeah, I've been there.
Exactly.
What's next?
Then you present your product or service as a solution.
The hero of the story.
Right? Show how it helps that character overcome their challenges and achieve their goals.
Love it.
And finally, highlight the transformation. Show the positive impact your product has had.
Like a before and after, but for stories.
Exactly.
So simple, but so effective.
It is. If you can master storytelling.
You can master marketing.
Well, it's a bit of an oversimplification.
Maybe.
But it's definitely a crucial part of the equation.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to encourage everyone listening to go out there and start telling stories.
Yes. Stories that connect, stories that inspire, stories that sell.
Because at the end of the day,
That's what it's all about.
connecting with people,
Building relationships.
making a difference.
And having some fun along the way.
Absolutely.
That's it for this deep dive, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, happy marketing.